Love and heartbreak. You know the feeling. It can be the best drug in the world and the absolute worst withdrawal. But what if that's more than just a metaphor? What if it's literally what's happening in our biology? Well, today, we're diving into the science of why love feels so much like an addiction and why a broken heart hurts in a way that feels so real.
I mean, this line from Brokeback Mountain just nails it, doesn't it? It's that feeling of being completely, utterly hooked on someone. An attraction so powerful and constant that you feel like you just can't escape it. It's about a loss of control that, let's be honest, most of us have probably felt at some point.
So that really brings us to the big question for this explainer. When we throw around a phrase like, I'm addicted to you, are we just being dramatic? Is it just poetic language for really strong feeling? Or is there something real, something chemical, happening inside our brains that makes love act just like a full-blown addiction?
All right, let's get into it. First up, we're going to look at why love has such an overwhelming, all-consuming pull on us. Just think about it for a second. The whole experience of being intensely in love, it lines up with addiction in some kind of spooky ways. You've got these incredible euphoric highs when you're with that person, right? But then, when you're apart, it's this desperate crash. And that cycle, it can lead to obsessive thinking, even doing risky things, all just to get that feeling back. So, what's actually going on under the hood that's causing all this? Let's take a little trip inside the brain to see what it really looks like when it's on love.
Okay, the main character in this whole story is the brain's reward system. This thing is ancient, it's powerful, and it's what gives you that little hit of pleasure when you eat something amazing or hang out with your best friend. It's basically designed to motivate us to do all the things we need to do to survive, like find food, water, and you guessed it, connect with other people.
Now, when we fall in love, this system gets absolutely flooded with a seriously potent chemical cocktail. We're talking about dopamine, which is all about pleasure and motivation. You've got oxytocin and vasopressin, which are key for that feeling of bonding and attachment. And you even have changes in serotonin that can lead to that obsessive, can't stop thinking about you feeling. Now, here is where it gets really wild. This isn't just a similar process to drug addiction, it's a shared one. Romantic love and addictive drugs like cocaine or opioids light up the exact same parts of the brain. They are both hijacking the very same dopamine-driven reward pathways. That incredible high you get from being in love, biologically, it's coming from the exact same place as a drug-induced high. It's not a metaphor, it's a fact. And that right there explains why the behaviors look so darn similar. The intense euphoria, the constant craving, the obsessive thoughts, and that soul-crushing despair when you're apart, these aren't just feelings. They're the direct result of that shared neural pathway going into overdrive.
Okay, so if love is the high, what happens during the withdrawal? Let's switch gears and talk about the agony of loss, because this is where the science really starts to explain heartbreak.
For most of us, grief is awful, but it's a natural process we eventually move through. But for a pretty significant number of people, about 7 to 10% of those who are bereaved, that sharp, acute pain, it just doesn't fade. It sticks around and becomes this persistent, debilitating condition. This is now officially recognized as a condition called prolonged grief disorder, or PGD. And we're not just talking about being sad. This is defined by a relentless, intense yearning for the person who's gone, along with symptoms so severe they literally stop you from being able to function in your daily life.
So, this is where the science gets really, really interesting. Could we actually understand this incredibly profound grief through the very same lens we use for addiction? And the answer from scientists is increasingly yes. This quote from the research lays it out perfectly. That constant, painful yearning you see in PGD, it's likely a mix of craving, the same kind you see in addiction, and rumination, which is just another word for obsessive thinking. Your brain is craving a person, like it would a drug, except that person isn't there anymore.
And we've got the brain scans to prove it. Now, this table shows a few key areas, but let's just focus on the big one, the nucleus accumbens. You can think of this as the brain's craving center. In people with PGD, this area lights up like a Christmas tree when they see pictures or reminders of their lost loved one, exactly like it would for a person with an addiction who sees their drug of choice. The big takeaway here is that the very same brain regions that drive addiction are in total overdrive for people stuck in this profound grief. So what you get is this terrible neurological tug of war. Part of the brain, the reward system, is screaming, approach. It's yearning for the comfort and pleasure it associates with that person. But at the same time, reality forces it to avoid the incredible pain of knowing they're gone. This approach avoidance battle is a classic hallmark of addiction, where an addict desperately craves a drug while also knowing how much harm it will cause.
So if heartbreak can literally hijack our brain's reward system, how in the world does that change the way we think about healing? Let's talk about what it means to completely reframe a broken heart.
And this is where the practical implications get absolutely mind-blowing. Check this out. A report followed 3 patients with severe PGD who were given naltrexone. Now, naltrexone is a drug used to treat opioid and alcohol addiction by blocking the brain's reward pathways. And the results were stunning. Within just a few days, their symptoms of grief were dramatically reduced. By literally turning off the reward signal tied to grieving, the drug seemed to break the obsessive cycle and set them free. This whole body of research completely changes the game. It reframes healing from a broken heart as something other than just a passive waiting game, where time heals all wounds. Instead, it's an active process of literally retraining your brain's reward system. Just like with addiction, recovery means finding new rewards, forging new connections, and building new pathways in your brain. And so that leaves us with this final, really powerful thought to chew on. If love and loss can hijack our brains in the exact same way a drug can, then maybe we need to start thinking about healing a broken heart in the same way we think about recovering from an addiction. It suggests that healing isn't just about waiting, but about actively rewiring our brains by finding new passions, new people, and a new sense of purpose. It really makes you wonder, what tools should we be using to actively take our brains back?